Hello and a warm welcome to this Result Day live coverage. It's about 1:35 p.m. and what an election result it has been. People had not thought, and all eyes were on the exit polls, whether the exit polls will turn out to be true or not. But on record at 1:30 p.m., we can say that it's a grand exit of the exit polls. Exit polls seem to be in a dustbin. And what the latest figures show, and I have opened the Election Commission website, which shows that BJP, the tall claims made by BJP, 70 mark, that doesn't seem to be turning out to be true. BJP, for now, the leads which are coming, seems to be leading on 240 seats. Indian National Congress, that is Congress, is leading on 96 seats. Samajwadi Party 37, All India Trinamool Congress 31, DMK 21, TDP 16, Janata Dal United 15, Shiv Sena, Udhav Balasaheb Thackeray 10, NCP 8, and likewise Lok Janshakti Party 5, then YSRCP 4, Communist Party of India CPIM 4, RJD is 3, Indian Union Muslim League, that is 3, Aam Aadmi Party 3, it's leading on 3 seats, Jan Sena Party on 2 seats, then CPIML, that is leading on 2 seats. Janata Dal Secular leading on 2 seats. And of course, these are all the leads. The final results we do not know. Now, the big question is who's forming the government? It's difficult to predict at this point of time. It's about 136. We still do not know. But what the murmurs are rather the whispers in the political corridors is that JDU and TDP apparently have started talking to Congress, or the Congress people are trying to reach out to them. Of course, there's no official confirmation, but this is purely going by the whispers in the corridor. But what does the big result today indicate? Have the people rejected Prime Minister Modi? Have the people rejected BJP? Have the people rejected the politics of hate? All these are big questions. And we'll try and discuss all of this, and our live coverage will continue in the afternoon and also in the evening. Joining us now is S. Srinivasan, who's the editor-in-chief of The Federal. So thank you so much for joining. We have Puneet Nicholas Yadav, senior editor with The Federal, someone who follows politics closely. Thank you so much, Puneet. We have TK Rajalakshmi, who's a senior deputy editor of The Frontline. Thank you so much. We have SS Venkateshwaran, who's the member of the governing body of Idina Group, which had conducted surveys, and they were a kind of an outlier because they were saying that these exit polls do not look appropriate, and especially by the yardsticks which have been adopted in the exit polls. We have Girish Joshi with us, senior journalist, political commentator with us. So thank you so much for joining. And Pushparaj Deshpande, someone who's worked closely with the India Alliance. He's also the author of the book Bharat Jodo Yatra. Thank you, Pushparaj, for joining. And I'll begin with S. Srinivasan. Srini sir, what are your thoughts at the picture of the result, what we see at 137 right now? Are we in a position to say that India Alliance or maybe BJP will form the government? Because I was listening to the BJP spokespersons just about 10 minutes ago, and they were very, very confident that BJP still will form the government and Prime Minister will return for the third time. That's what their indications were. Yes. So I think you'll have to unmute yourself. Your audio's, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Neelu. I think it's, in a way, extraordinary results. Many of us are hoping that, something will come out of these elections. Certainly, the entire campaigning was very bitterly fought. Over 70 days of a lot of cacophony which happened around our drawing rooms. And I'm sure many of us, besides the hot temperature outside, were expecting that somehow things would change. And I think that kind of changes happened. Once again, the voters in India have, demonstrated that their will very strongly. There are a couple of things, there are a few things which I would like to list, which I think are important today. One, as you correctly said, exit polls have gone completely wrong. It has once again put a big question mark on the credibility of the media, especially the large media, the television and other the media houses, which have completely let down the viewers. I think it's an important thing to note on this day. I think there was also an absolute underestimation of the performance of the opposition. or the India alliance, they have been constantly badgered, hit very hard below the belt often. And why I'm saying this, because as two political formations, they have managed to reduce the gap with ruling NDA by over 100 seats. I think that's a creditable performance by them. The next performance of Congress itself, it's been, last time they had 48, and this time they were expecting minimum to cross 100. I think more or less they are inching close to that targets. Of course, these are trends only, not yet results, but they seem to have managed to do that, which again goes to their credit that they have managed to come this. Whereas many people were writing off the existence of Congress as a party. There was, in fact, a slogan that there could be a Congress Mukt Bharat. So this is obviously not happening. Its opposition is back in a way. And now that also means that within the parliament, when the new parliament is constituted, we really don't know, as you are saying, who will be who will form the government. Most probably, in my view, it's BJP. Instead of BJP, now probably people will say NDA government. I mean, that is the essential difference, I think, because they, on their own, the way our system goes is first single largest pre-poll alliance is called, and then if that's not, I mean, the second option is then given to single largest party. So BJP certainly qualifies in that sense. They may, as far as trends are concerned, they're getting over 240, and as an alliance, they obviously NDA, if the pre-poll alliance still stands. That's I think is where it is moving, but still, let's wait. Let's not get ahead of the story by evening. But I think that's where it is heading. The other things are, as far as BJP is concerned, they aspire to win 370 seats on their own, and as an alliance 400 plus, which is not going to happen at all, which most of us were very clear right at the beginning, but probably it was more a psychological warfare, and it didn't quite, take off. Then the other thing was that the party individually aspired to get more than 50% of the total vote share. I don't think that's also the target is anywhere closer to that. I don't think they'll be able to meet that at all. And it's also a personal setback, I would say, to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. It's because it was him who was leading the entire campaign, and he was in the forefront all the time. All the rallies were addressed by him. The unprecedented way, I mean, the way he campaigned and the hard work he put in, he was most visible representative of his party, and therefore, if there is any setback, equally it should be apportioned to him. So the thing here is BJP is, as far as trends are concerned, is struggling to get an absolute majority of its own. The next question you asked is about whether he will be prime minister for a third term, and this is obviously the party has to decide. Still, whatever 240s plus whatever they get, it is because of largely it will be credited to Modi. So that we have to wait and see before rushing to any such any conclusion on that. And other things I would, I think as we go, we can discuss. But certainly one thing I would like to say, we can analyze state-wise because there have been phenomenal changes in some states. Some states have actually gone into battle states, turned into battle states. For instance, UP is a very interesting outcome.
Yes.
Others are expected. Karnataka, Maharashtra is very interesting. Rajasthan has again turned out very interesting. But the final thing I would like to say in the first round, at least, is what you said correctly: the politics of hate, the politics of divisive politics, the misuse of official machinery, ED, and other things. The constant fall of institutional morality, which we have been seeing. I think those things must now, I think they will be arrested. I hope so. And the real issues have come to the forefront, I must say, that price and unemployment. I think people are reminding once again that, well, all this is fine, whatever you're talking about, religion is fine, all that is fine, but underlying issue is price rise, unemployment. Please solve our real issues. I think that is the message.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'll come to Girish Joshi now, and then I'll come to Neet also for the picture in Uttar Pradesh. Girish, I was just looking at a change on the TV channel since morning when I was constantly on lives. Uh, Earlier, there used to be on the graphic plates, we used to see the picture of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, that this election is all about Prime Minister Modi. But after the second round of counting was over, very interesting. Interestingly, that picture changed to JP Nadda's picture now. Now, is it now an indication that the fall guy would be Mr. JP Nadda and not Prime Minister Narendra Modi? At least that's what is evident if you look at the TV channels. Girish.
Thank you, Nilu. The weathercock excellent in India is your share market. See the Nifty, where is it going? Because those people for 2 days, they believed, Home Minister, Finance Minister, Chief Minister, everybody, that buy the shares and on 4th of June, they will all go multiplying. Now they are not multiplying. Secondly, when you ask who is forming the government, I'll tell you, when privatization in transport started, people sitting in the state transport bus, moment they see a private bus has come, they'll just get down and jump and get into the private. Because for the same cost, they had a lot of facilities. Same thing is going to happen here by evening. All passengers would prefer to join a party which is going to give them some importance, which is lacking totally for last 10 years in BJP, everybody knows. So situation is very clear, and as we get the messages on other portals also, that Chandrababu Naidu and Nitish Kumar, they are already negotiating with the parties. But there are no reason that they should make the mistake again and go with BJP. Because what is the existence of other people in BJP, everybody knows, it's written on the wall. So things are very clear, and if I see whatever the Congress and India Gathbandhan had predicted their seats, they are almost where they had predicted. So they were practically right in saying where they were getting less seats, they have said. But if the 240 seats calculation stands as it is, the game is over. And secondly, when the market sentiments are totally going against you, it is very evident because they are watching that. And I'll tell you one thing is that, they will try to play the dirty game till the last, what they did yesterday. Election commissioner suddenly comes and says that postal ballots will not be counted first. These are the advantages they have taken in many states. Particularly, I know in Gujarat in 2017, whenever Education Minister Bhupendra Chudasama had lost the election by 294 votes, that postal ballot votes were declared illegal, what Masi did in Chandigarh. And he was declared. The High Court judge passed a stricture and said that his election is null and void. But getting into the legal complications, they went for the appeal and he completed his term as Education Minister. So this was the last resort they were trying to do. And smartly, if you see, they had added handicapped people and senior citizens into the postal ballot because they wanted to increase the count. And they would be waiting in the evening. But unfortunately, Manu Singhvi has, just put that last nail in the coffin and that matter is over. So now even that game is lost. Other things, Supreme Court has already taken care of. So I think still we will have to wait and see that count goes down for BJP because normally the trend is they start with the urban votes first. And cities normally, if you see, they are always tilting towards BJP. But once the rural votes start counting, the things will be little still different. And see in the afternoon after 12:30, from 300 they have come down to 270, and this trend will still continue. That is what normally as we have seen the elections in the past. Maybe.
All right, now let me come to Puneet. And Uttar Pradesh is the biggest upset where we see a complete upheaval. And nobody had thought that after the consecration of the Ram temple, one would see a result like what we are seeing right now in Uttar Pradesh. Puneet, what is the real story from Uttar Pradesh according to you? You traveled also. What has really gone wrong with BJP in Uttar Pradesh? Has Yogi been? Has Yogi played some kind of a role? I mean, it is just one off the mark question which comes to my mind. Is that something which we can talk about at this point of time? Yeah.
Well, thank you, Neelu. So, with regard to UP, look, whether Yogi played spoil sport for Modi and all that, I think one can leave for the BJP guys to discuss now. And I mean, it's a rumor. There's no point in us dwelling on a rumor as of now. It still remains within that realm. But what I would certainly say with regard to UP, and if you recall, I had said this earlier also on your show. I'd written about it extensively in my constituency reports, the field reports for the federal, that Ram Mandir was not an issue across UP by and large in this election, including the constituency of Faizabad, within which Ayodhya is located. And if you see the results, if you see the constituency-wise results, the BJP has been trailing in Faizabad for quite some time now. So, and I had mentioned about this in detail in my stories. I talked about it on your show, that the BJP was in a lot of trouble in UP. The reasons for that are, of course, they're slightly different from region to region within Uttar Pradesh and constituency to constituency. But primarily, if I were to put a finger on it, then I would say one was there was a very, very clear realignment of castes that was happening in favor of the India alliance and away from the BJP. So you could, it was very palpable that the Dalits, not so much still as the Jatav Dalits of the BSP, who also have, if one goes by the voter, the percentages and the seats, it looks like even that has shifted in this election. Although I would want to, examine that a little more closely and wait for the final, percentages to come out. But the non-Jatav Dalits who had, over the last two general elections, moved very, substantially to the BJP's fold, it was very evident that they were returning or they were, now coming to either the Congress or the Samajwadi Party. Similar was the situation with a lot of the non-Yadav OBCs, which had moved, and switched their allegiances in favor of the BJP, which you could sense were coming back. A big reason for that would be, to my mind, the way the Samajwadi Party came up with its PDA campaign, which initially seemed to be floundering, especially during the Rajya Sabha elections, when Akhilesh gave tickets, to non-PDA, non-Pichhda, non-Dalit, non-Alpsankhyak candidates, and paid the price for it, because you saw the whole episode in February when there were defections from the party and all of that happened. Although surprisingly, those defections were largely of people from the upper castes, who had won on an SP ticket. So that was there. Also, the whole narrative of Samvidhan Bachana hai, you have to save the constitution, you have to save democracy, had really taken root in Uttar Pradesh. Every single village, every single town I visited, that was one overriding narrative, much stronger than Ram Temple, much stronger than free ration, much stronger than Narendra Modi. That was very, very evident. And thirdly, I would say that the alliance, if there was one state where you had to see how an alliance has functioned really well, it is Uttar Pradesh. The manner in which the Samajwadi Party and the Congress worked together, unlike their alliance of 2017 and the alliance of the SP and the BSP in 2019, unlike those alliances, the current alliance really worked well. It was a very, very well-oiled alliance that worked on the ground. You saw the transfer of vote happening. So that has clearly helped the Samajwadi Party. This is the SP's best ever performance in Uttar Pradesh ever since the party was founded. Including the period when Akhilesh Yadav was chief minister of the state with an absolute majority. So those are certainly factors that have worked in UP. Ram Mandir, I have been saying this from the beginning, that perhaps the only two states where you would see the Ram Mandir really working for the BJP, really working in the BJP's favor, were Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. And that is what the result today has also borne out. Those are two states where the BJP has completely decimated the Congress, and those were also states where the Congress has no allies. So I think the Congress, while it has reasons to celebrate over this result, uh, it also has enough reasons to think what is it standing electorally without the help of its allies. And there are n number of states which one can cite as example: Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Orissa, Andhra Pradesh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, all these states where you have no allies and you've not nurtured any real strong state level leadership, and you've not been able to combat the BJP. Uh, the Congress is in a mess even in this situation, even in this result. And I would still, you opened the debate, the discussion by saying, this is a vote against hate, and while that may be to some extent, I would still not want to, while if that indeed is true, I'd be very happy. But I would not want to, just kind of declare that just yet, because with 230 odd seats, the BJP is still in a very strong position.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's right.
Much of the Hindi heartland, UP being an exception, the BJP is still a dominant factor. And I don't really see any reason which will compel the BJP even now to change its politics. The only difference one may see is that they may become a little more accommodating towards their allies, not towards the minority community, but towards their allies. Because, now it's basically their government at stake.
Yeah. No, you're right. But I'll pick on the point where you said that, there are learning lessons for Congress in states like Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh. I'm coming to you, Pushpraj, now, that while there are reasons for Congress to celebrate that it's a grand revival, a grand comeback of Congress, but now, what are the challenges which you see for India Alliance and for Congress from here on? Now, we do not know whose government is going to be in power, whether it is NDA, whether it is India. But yes, Congress will come back as a stronger force. But what are the challenges now which you see from here on for Congress and for India Alliance both?
Hi, Niluji. Many of our panelists have already spoken about some of the factors that they feel limited the BJP to its current numbers. But it's very clear that the NDA on its own will form a government, however weak it is. So I don't want to belabor that particular point. What I do want to point, a couple of things I do want to say before I then move on to the India parties and the Congress in specific. The first factor that we are not really accounting for, which I've been pointing out throughout this election, is that we have tended to see the RSS and the BJP as a monolithic bloc, which they are not. Both of them are intensely faction ridden, and it is a fact that there are in this election there has been a Modi BJP and the RSS BJP, and they have fought against each other in this election, and it is clearly visible on the ground. In Maharashtra, the Modi backed BJP, funded by flush with funds from crony capitalists, with the likes of ABM and others supporting them, spent a lot of time in defeating candidates like Gadkari, then those candidates that had been propped up by Vasundhara Raje, Yogi Adityanath, and Raman Singh and Shivraj Chauhan. That is clearly playing out. So the rift between the RSS and the BJP is now complete. It is complete. And I know for a fact that the RSS has been in conversation with a couple of parties in the India Alliance on the Congress, not the Congress party, others. They are shopping now. And this is a factor that is going to play out. The fact that the BJP has been limited to below 300, which is what I anticipated. I've been saying this for the better part of the last month, that they might cross 272 more or less, but they'll be limited below 300. The minute this happens, already you can see the factions within the BJP have smelled blood. Himanta Sharma, Yogi Adityanath, Gadkari, Rajnath Singh, they've all smelled blood. And there is now going to be a real problem for the BJP, especially for the current incumbent Prime Minister and the Home Minister. Even if they do retain power, and it's very likely that they will, I think that this is now going to be a situation where, like UPA 2, where the levers of power will not be in their control any longer. There is going to be severe policy paralysis. That is one big thing that is going to be a consequence of this internal power struggle that is about to break out. The second thing is, if you see the postal ballots that have come, typically the postal ballots are the bureaucrats and the army officers. They have overwhelmingly rejected the BJP. And this is a very heartening sign. The steel frame of India is still very intact. They are
Yes.
vehemently anti-BJP. And I see that this problem is going to continue. If you see the current Joint Secretary and Deputy Secretary ranks in the last 6 years, they have been primarily people from the Indian Economic Service, the Indian Information Service, and the Indian Railway Service, not the IAS. The JS level rank, the Deputy Secretary rank. IAS level, Secretary level are IAS only. But it is these ranks that have been supporting the BJP and controlled by the Gujarat cadre. It is this that is now going to be another problem that they're going to face. They're not going to be allowed to work. So given this, I personally feel that the Congress party is now finally in pole position. And for this, credit must go to Rahul Gandhi and Bharat Jodo Yatra. Civil society has played a big role. I don't deny that. In fact, if in this chariot of Save Democracy, the India parties were just merely the charioteers. They were just the drivers. The entire chariot was built and constructed by civil society and progressive individuals across India. So that is something which, I mean, it's sort of this is the biggest challenge I feel that the Congress and the India parties will face, primarily the Congress, is how do you create a tangible praxis between civil society? The progressive energies that you managed to tap into during the Bharat Jodo Yatra, you have not been able to constructively channelize this during any of your elections. Case in point is one of the people who are sitting here, Idina. They have played a big role during the Karnataka elections. Yet after the Karnataka elections, they've not been able to constructively link up with the Congress party. And the failure for this must lie with the Congress party. They should have had a bigger role in policy making. They should have had a bigger role in candidate selection. I mean, the fact of the matter is that out of 28 candidates, 19 of your candidates in the Congress party, and this is something that I have personally internally argued against, was given to your relatives of big leaders. And this has really pissed off the cadre. The cadre did not really come out and support you in the way they should have been. Karnataka, you could have actually gained up to 18 seats if you had actually listened to proper feedback coming from the ground. You didn't do that. That's your feeling. And the same goes to other fault lines. This is the other problem. The reason I give this rather convoluted argument about the RSS and the BJP is that there are multiple fault lines waiting for us to be exploited. The Congress party is now a good opposition, both in Rajya Sabha and in Lok Sabha. It will certainly be able to play on front foot. But without exploiting the fault lines of the RSS and the BJP, you're not going to muddy their waters and put them in the back foot. Because there is a real chance, and this is, I must say this with the greatest caution, there is a very real chance that what havoc the BJP, the modified BJP has wrought on itself is going to demolish the BJP for the better part of the next 10 to 15 years. If you play it smart, if you play it tactically, you can really bring them down to their knees. This is just the first black eye that you managed to give them. But you need to put them on the back foot. There are 2 more rounds. And the first round after this is Maharashtra, Jharkhand, and Haryana. And all 3 states are states that the Congress can win. Well, in one state it's Congress and Jharkhand Mukti Morcha.
Right.
But you can win that. And that would be a body blow to the BJP.
Right. All right. You were talking about states, but yes, that's a few months from now. But Siddharth Sharma also joins us. Independent analyst is there with us. I'll come to states like Andhra and Odisha, where the breaking news is that TDP wins Andhra with 130 seats. 130 seats out of 175. And Odisha, look at the performance of BJP, 75 out of 147. Now, what would you say to that? Naveen Patnaik losing Odisha, that's something which was unthinkable so far. And TDP winning Andhra.
Yeah, Neelu, is that question to me?
Yes, Siddharth, to you.
Yeah, it's now very clear that these results are very localized kind of results. What the results are in UP is not the same in adjacent Madhya Pradesh. What the result is in West Bengal is not reflected in adjacent Odisha. So basically what has happened today is that India has preferred a lame duck prime minister. Personality cult of BJP and Modi have been thoroughly rejected. And India today wants a weak personality and very strong people. That is what this mandate is. That is how this kind of mandate has to be interpreted. I'll repeat it again. India has preferred a lame duck prime minister. Personality cult of BJP and Modi have been thoroughly rejected. And India wants a weak personality and a strong people. And that is why these results have been. I'll give you some data. I was just checking out the election commission data. BJP as of now is at 238 seats. That is out of 543. The election commission as of now says that all 543 seats results or trends have come out, and BJP is at 238. That is well below the majority. So the personality cult of BJP and Mr. Modi have thoroughly been demolished. Now the flip side of it, I'll count out the states here, and these states amount to 231 out of the 543 seats. This data again I've culled out from the Election Commission website live. Uttar Pradesh, a local party is leading BJP, that is SP. In West Bengal, a regional party is leading BJP, TMC. In Bihar, JDU, a regional party, is doing better than BJP. In Andhra Pradesh, TDP, a regional party, is doing better than BJP. In Tamil Nadu, a regional party is doing better than BJP. In Jammu and Kashmir, National Conference is doing better than BJP. In Mizoram and Sikkim, regional parties are doing better than BJP. That is totally 8 states in India that amount to 231 seats. That's just nearly 45% of India. The voting pattern is very clear that BJP's personality cult has been rejected, and people want very strong regional parties because that's how they have a stake in national politics. Otherwise, they don't have a stake. If you have a very so-called nationalistic party at the center with a very big cult figure, what happens is that essentially the regional parties lose out about their rights. They don't feel any stake. Another interesting point here is that by the end of these elections, it can also come out that BJP would have lost the vote share compared to 2019 also. Right now, BJP has around 38% vote share. And interestingly, BJP, the NDA, which right now is showing in a majority, the biggest two parties in that majority is JDU and TDP. Minus JDU and TDP, NDA does not have a majority. BJP cannot form a government. Now, all of us know that TDP has said there will be 4% reservation for Muslims. And JDU is clear that there has to be caste census across India. So is the mandate now the new Mr. Modi 3.0, the government of Modi 3.0, the BJP government of Modi 3.0, going to give 4% reservation to Muslims because TDP will be an integral part of that government, and will it also go for caste census? Because BJP has been tom-tomming about the uniform civil code. Basically, if you bring in uniform civil code, you get rid of the reservation factor, because in reservation you give special privileges to a few people. So what is this mandate for? If the NDA and Mr. Modi insist that this is a mandate for NDA and Mr. Modi wants to continue as the Prime Minister of India, does it mean that the new BJP Modi 3.0 will be giving 4% reservations to the Muslims because TDP will do? TDP is it is part of TDP's manifesto, and will the Modi 3.0 go for a caste census across India, because that is what Nitish Kumar stands for? Minus these two people, NDA does not have a majority. The other people in NDA are very small partners like LJP and Shiv Sena. They are the biggest two other than TDP and JDU. Shiv Sena, that is the breakaway group of Shiv Sena and Ramvilas Paswan's LJP. These both have 5 seats. So all other seats of BJP is coming from single-digit parties, small parties like HAM, RLD, these kind of parties. So basically, BJP is dependent upon the new. If Mr. Modi wants to become the Prime Minister of India, he will be a Prime Minister on 2 crutches. One crutch will be Mr. Nitish Kumar, the other crutch will have to be Mr. Chandrababu Naidu. One will be asking for a caste census across India, other would be asking for 4% reservation for Muslims, and the Modi 3.0 will be giving out these to both of them. Now it is for Modi to decide whether he wants to go for that, or the BJP would.
Oh, Siddharth is disconnected. I think he's joining back.
I think I've made my point in a very
yes,
very caustic way.
Yes. We could hear you out. Modi 3.0, you said, will have two crutches. One is TDP's Chandrababu Naidu, and the other one, of course, is Nitish Kumar. But Rajlakshmi.
No. My larger point was Modi 3.0 will have to give 4% reservations to Muslims and go for a caste census across India, because those are the two crutches on which he'll be standing.
I got your point, but on that bit, I wanted to come to Rajlakshmi, that will Modi agree to this kind of a narrative? Will he mellow down, if at all he's becoming a prime minister? Now, we do not know whether he'll continue as a prime minister, whether at all he will be accepted as a prime minister, who will take over the reins of the party now. All these are big questions, because there's going to be a lot of internal rumbling within the BJP. Will Modi step down? Maybe, he'll try and find more people, or maybe voices like Gadkari and Rajnath, or Shivraj Chauhan for that matter, will become more vibrant and more vocal. We do not know all of that. But then the point which Siddharth was making about the caste census and the reservation, do you think that BJP will be going back to that kind of a narrative? Will it go to that kind of a narrative?
It's I mean, it's possible. It can, Nilu. Like, for instance, somebody who went on attacking Muslims throughout, in fact by name, throughout his campaigns, despite the election commission sort of sending a mild letter to the JP Nadda, etc. I mean, for him, he sort of turned around, in interviews and said, he said, "मैंने कहाँ कहा था, where did I say this?" Okay, so it was a complete turnaround. I mean, it was
the biggest turnaround of Prime Minister Modi was that I never did Hindu-Muslim.
Absolutely.
And then the next day he comes back to the same thing.
Absolutely. So for him and his party to sort of make a turnaround also on these issues is something quite expected. But what is to be seen, in fact lies to be seen, is that how long will these allies, who do not have a record of really staying firm with any party or any formation for too long, how long will they stay on with the BJP also, as allies? For instance, the TDP. TDP has a record of going also. It was a part of the UP at some time, or I think it was a part of the UF. I think the United Front Alliance at some time, and then you had also for Nitish Kumar. He's famous for his Paltu techniques, right? So so the thing is, whether he'll stay, whether he'll not stay, it's all up in the air. So these allies who are part of the NDA, how long are they likely to stay with the NDA is also question which is up in the air, right? Yes, and these elections have been, I think, extremely interesting, because I think the people have shown the BJP it's that these things do not work. You can't keep on sort of doing Hindu Muslim throughout. You have to talk about real issues which actually sort of concern us. And if a state like UP can show the way, there's definitely lots of hope for this country. At one point one felt that that it's really bleak, and that if everybody is going to fall for this rhetoric and are going to vote on these on absolute nonsensical issues, divisive issues, then where lies the future of this country? But I think that even if the NDA, even if the BJP comes as the largest party, and even if it forms government today at the center, okay, it doesn't matter. For instance, Modi's in fact margins itself are going to come down substantially. It will be, I think less than half of what it was in 2019, and so all these are signals. All these are signals. I don't expect a lot of course correction to happen, but I think that the opposition, I think they were consistent. The India bloc was consistent throughout in its issues, and in fact. To add to what Puneet said, in Rajasthan also the India bloc took off. I mean, there Congress workers were on the ground and they were campaigning, and the transfer of votes did take place. The left has its strongholds in Rajasthan, in some in Shekhavati, etc. And there they transfer to the Congress candidates, and vice versa. Similarly, the BAP, the Bharat Adivasi Party too. I mean, here, there was some kind of a misunderstanding in Banswara. Okay, and Banswara was a place where he made that toxic speech. Where the Prime Minister started off with that toxic speech about Ghuspaitiye and about Mangal Sutra and all that. And there, the BAP candidate has won. Or he's leading at least, with Congress support. So in places where this was used, this divisive rhetoric was used, it just did not work. And of course, I think Orissa, yes, one can't explain Bihar really. Bihar is something which one will need to sort of look at carefully. So that's not really very clear as to why it went, uh, why the results have been as they are.
Right.
But I think overall the India bloc experiment as such has taken off. And I
Yes.
think larger issues are talked about. I mean, I do not know to what extent the Samvidhan was understood as a danger by the people, but what they in fact definitely understood is that the ruling party at the center is not really doing anything which actually which is elevating us in any way, which is elevating our status in any way, which is elevating our daily lives in any way. So I think there was some undercurrent that happened. This low voting also. I mean, everybody thought that it was status quoist, that it would go towards the incumbents. The low voter uh, turnout. So it seems that the theory that it is that maybe the BJP cadre is, or the RSS cadre, did not turn out. Maybe who knows? That could, I think, I think could
That's
well
right.
prove. So that is also a thing that needs to be explored.
Absolutely.
And Smriti Irani trailing. I mean, come on, the big names, who've been trailing, huh? And also HP. In fact, since Puneet also mentioned HP, the six, in fact, by-elections were held to 6 seats, because six MLAs were disqualified in HP in Himachal Pradesh, and but even though if the 4 seats, which have gone, the 4 Lok Sabha seats, even if they go, the BJP way, of the six assembly seats that have also gone, which also had simultaneous polls, on 4 of them, the Congress is leading. So it was perhaps like a referendum for the state government as far as assembly by elections are concerned. But maybe there, I think candidate selection was not perhaps right,
Right.
as far as Madhya Pradesh goes. I mean, everybody knew that Anand Sharma is not going to make it. So, but we felt still a ray of hope, 50-50. We felt that it could be. I also felt, we talked to people, but
Right.
I guess not all that bad, overall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not all that bad. But I'll come to you, Venkat, now. You are from Medina, somebody who's surveyed aggressively, especially in Karnataka, the kind of results which you had thought of. Are you disappointed when you look at the pan India results now? What do you really feel, and what are the biggest takeaways for you? What do you think are the biggest takeaways from this election, the kind of results which we are seeing?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify something from the start. There are two names. One is IDINA. It's the media organization made of communities. We do report, which is a community-based one. It's a non-profit, and it does also survey. And survey is a way we generate news articles, not just for polls. And we are not connected to Congress in any way. We did not do any talking to them. But Eddalu is a different organization. It sounds similar. Eddalu is Wake Up Karnataka. For some reason, Karnataka, Kannada both sound similar, Idina and Eddalu. Eddalu is a political entity in that sense. It's civil society coming together and saying that this election we are going to support. Usually civil societies don't ask you to vote for something because it's credibility. But we did that, and I've been a part of both in many ways. So these two organizations are not linked, but of course, we could talk to each other, etc. But we are not linked. EDLU particularly takes a political stance, and it worked very closely during the assembly election. Yogendra Yadav's analysis at least indicates we allowed assembly seats up to 10 seats came because of us using the data. But we think we at least influence even JDS at that point of time. So 2 seats of JDS and about 10 seats of Congress in assembly. This time we of course did, the EDLU team, so I'm speaking like an EDLU member too, did not. So I want to clarify there are 2 different organizations. EDINA does not align with Congress. EDLU does not also align with Congress, but it does believe that it is not going to support right wing. So it supports anyone. So in assembly, we supported JDS also, right? Once I make that clear, now talking from EDINA's perspective, I'm in the governing council. I'm not a journalist. I want to call out a couple of things which I feel is that this election in some sense is momentous for whether we have not even discovered what PM cares is. The electoral bond is a spider web of corruptions. The number of skeletons in the closet could create a mass. It will take us years to understand this. So if an India government gets formed, it will set back a BJP and RSS for many years because they have told us that they are non-corruptible. RSS specifically tries to tell you that they are non-corruptible from monetary terms, right? So this image will be completely destroyed because if they were non-corruptible, why were they supporting BJP, right? So a formation of that government would completely destroy. So I take it with a pinch of salt that RSS did not want BJP to win. Second, 2-3 months ago, I found flags. The distribution of flags must be it's a non-profit organization. This must be the largest distribution of flags in the history of mankind, which happened. Same size, same structure, and it has been redistributed just before the 3rd phase and 4th phase in Patna and Karnataka. So for me to think that RSS is wanting to play this card and it's a Mogambo which shifts, I do not completely buy this argument. Although I must say I'm not that strong in politics itself. I'm just using evidence to say that this is being planted to us to say BJP को public ने नहीं reject किया, उसको RSS ने ही हरा दिया कि कोई Mogambo है. I don't think that is true completely. Of course there is problem. They played the card. Prime Minister Modi गए, गडकरी ने चाय नहीं पिया. इस पे 4-5 debate हो गए.
But Venkat, there are reports where RSS people of the record have spoken to journalists and they have said that the RSS cadres withdrew themselves.
Correct, but let us not demean the fact that people have voted against Agniveer, right? माने ऐसा लग रहा है कि हमारी पूरी जनता को RSS मैनेज कर रही है, RSS मूव कर जाएगी तो BJP हार जाएगी. I'm not saying it's not wrong, it's not right. All that I'm saying is when you do statistic analysis, some are more important, some are less important. But to get our debate that the Mogambo खुश नहीं हुआ, इसीलिए BJP हार रही है, is an exaggeration. Like an elephant, when you see the Jain, so you touch the elephant, you find many sides. In any statistics, political science, you have many sides to it. I personally feel that there was a lot of disappointment. That's why it has won. Why did the RSS, which has a large cadre base in Kerala, never used to win? But suddenly left has been decimated. Did the RSS support BJP there? No. That's because Congress has moved towards Congress left and taken away the left share. So the right has moved towards BJP. So I think, for me, this election has been particularly fought with the agenda of people. India has come together very strategically. I think it had to. Otherwise, it would have faced a Titanic for itself. So it has come together. And along with the people, this has managed a good job. And if we do not call this a people's mandate victory, we do not have the opportunity to go back. So winning of JDU, the winning of the election by TDP is not a BJP victory. BJP had less than Nota in Andhra Pradesh. So only way they could have won was with an alliance. And
also Nota,
from someone who
the
they arrested.
Nota in Indore, we must not ignore the heavy voting for Nota in Indore, where more than 1 lakh people have voted for Nota over there.
Yes, and so what I'm saying is that without the alliance, BJP has not managed to carve a place in Bihar. There is no chance in Andhra Pradesh too. So in such a scenario, I would say this is people have put this together. I still think it's a mandate where BJP has been rejected. So if I see a shift from TDP and from JDU, I, as a non-political party, I would ask them to shift to India, not because this is a good strategy or wrong strategy. That's because that's the people's mandate. It's a mandate against the sort of politics BJP did. It is like going back and saying, if you had two students and one student got all the support of tuition, or got the support of the teacher who is invigilating and scores 75, and the other student scores 65, I would still think the student who scores 65 is a way superior student. And that's what India takes from here. Everything was against it. If you have ever seen a Monty Python show, you would see how one of the shows is how his hand, legs, everything is cut. It's exactly the same. The only difference is somehow the knight whose hand and legs have been cut has actually managed to crave seats. So it's slightly reversal of the Monty Python position we are in, because we live in a farcical place. So I would take the biggest responsibility is somehow India has to form a government, not because I support Congress or anything, because the skeletons in the closets are huge. This might be a position, not just for India, exactly like the colonialism was removed by India in 1947, we might be able to say most right-wing work on corruption. Huge amount of corruption. Even when Paytm's shares were going down, I could guess that it will be one of the A's who will take it. And the rumors are now the second A is taking it. I guess the different A. It's that clear that the corruption and crony capitalism, it's in a peak. If we are able to turn this around, we will be able to give a signal, not in a methodological way, to the world that the right wing is completely based on corruption. And that's what this situation gives to us, is to go back and say, this is a highly corrupt organization. I do not understand how these flags are being produced in this mass scale. Who is funding them? Where is the money from ISKCON, and where is the money of people being flown from Gujarat to Australia during the so-called election rallies of Modi in Australia, right? So all these things, not all of them will come out, but we will surely see there is humongous amount of financial corruption which goes with RSS and BJP. To separate the two as is correct. It's somewhat this, but we are also being played a card of this separation. And I'm only saying it's not completely true. That is my opinion about it. And I'm very new to this analysis. Right. I'm not that well versed, so I could be very much wrong.
No. I'll now come for the final round of questions, one by one, to everyone. And as of now, the Election Commission of India website shows BJP with 237, Indian National Congress 98, Samajwadi Party 36, All India Trinamool Congress 32, DMK 21, TDP 16, Janata Dal United 14, Shiv Sena, Uddhav Balasaheb Thackeray 11. Now, quick word from you, Pushparaj, on the Maharashtra bit. What is the biggest takeaway on the political battle? What it has manifested into from Maharashtra? The sympathy factor for Uddhav Thackeray, for Sharad Pawar, it seems to have clicked with the people, and people seem to have rejected that kind of a political hunting ground which BJP created in the state.
Yes, Niluji, that is definitely a big factor here. There has been a huge sympathy wave for Sharad Pawar, and people have openly said, despite the fact that the NCP Ajit Pawar faction misused the state apparatus. I mean, we know for a fact that multiple, I don't want to get into specific details, but they've done a lot to sway the election results and the voting. But they and the Shiv Sena Shinde faction have been decisively routed because people in general feel that they have betrayed the state of Maharashtra, and a lot of investment has gone out from Maharashtra. Sorry, I know there's a lot of ambient noise at my end. They've already started celebrations. Congress has won here today, so Maharashtra is Western Maharashtra is completely Congress as NCP. So you can hear the celebrations going on right now. But one factor has actually helped out, and I hear this disagree with our colleague from Edelu in speaking from his Edelu hat, not Idina hat, if I'm correct there. Here the RSS did play a factor. In fact, Nitin Gadkari actively helped many candidates in the Vidarbha section win. We managed to not retain, we managed to amplify our tally from 1 to over 10, partly because of the fact that they themselves were a divided lot. And this is something that I see. I mean, one of the things I want to briefly respond to the argument that the RSS is obfuscating and playing us. That is a very valid point, and there is some point to that. But I believe in Samdam Dandabhed, and in politics we need to factor in two things: that India is not Karnataka or Kerala. India is many other regions, and they have different things. And maybe BL Santosh might be aligned in Karnataka to Modi, but here there are many others in Maharashtra, as well as other states in Madhya Pradesh and UP, who are not aligned to the RSS, or who are not aligned to Modi anymore. There is a severe strain internally, and they are financially starved. Nilu, you of course know for a fact that the ministries that the RSS keeps asking for, the organizational reshuffles that the BJP has gone through in the last 3 times, they have not been promoting RSS cadre. Yes, maybe the RSS might be still sort of, doing this magician's feint kind of thing, a boxer's feint. But I know for a fact that the strains are, there is a lot of dissatisfaction, and purely tactically, that is a fault line waiting for us to muddy. You muddy
Right.
their waters, but you continue to, without giving up your commitment to your core ideology or your tactics. You stick to what you are doing, but muddy their waters. And that has worked in Maharashtra. That has worked in UP also. To a very large extent, Samajwadi Party has been able to exploit that. And I think you see the results. So going forward, I feel that there is a lot for us to work on. This is now going to be, this Abhi Tiger Zinda hai. At this juncture, I can say, Ab Tiger
Yes.
Khelega. Because abhi to trailer
Right.
khatam hui hai. Picture will start now.
Right.
The next 3
Okay,
years
so
are
now
going to be
there's
some really interesting times.
yeah. Puneet, I'll come to you now. There's some message. I don't know how far it's true, but apparently there is a message which says that India Alliance has offered the post of Deputy Prime Minister to Nitish Kumar and offering Andhra Pradesh the special status. Now, I don't know. I really don't know what to say on this. Now, is this kind of a shopping which is on? What are you hearing from your sources, or is it just some random message which is being circulated on the WhatsApp?
Well, I'm logged on to your show, Neelu, so I don't know what I'm hearing from my sources as of now.
I have
I'll
not
have
told
to, log out and then hear from them. but but see, this prime ministership or deputy prime ministership to Nitish Kumar and all
I
that,
think
I think
Pushparaj is wanting
there's
to
a
know
lot of
about this.
rumor mongering that will
Puneet,
happen till
Puneet,
the
I think
actual.
Pushparaj is raising his hand. He might have some information. Yes, Pushparaj, do you have some info on this?
See, TDP has always been unhappy with BJP, and the fact is that they've already been in touch with the India Alliance long before this thing. So I wouldn't be too surprised there. And the second thing which
Okay,
I forgot to say, which I wanted to say, is that 100% JP Nadda is going to be changed. There's going to be a president probably from Karnataka. So you keep waiting.
okay,
They're going to pin the blame on him now.
okay. Yeah. Nadda's picture is all over now. They'll make him the fall guy, but we do not know. But yes, Puneet, yeah. Sorry to interrupt you. Yes,
No,
Puneet.
it's okay. So, what I was going to say, one, of course, is what I think Pushpraj beat me to it, but he has. Uh, can you hear me?
Yeah, your voice was breaking in between, but yeah, now go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. So, I was saying that Naidu, he has been in touch with the India Alliance in one part of the India Alliance. Why that did not work out, I think that's something that more than Naidu, it is for the Congress to answer. But the issue of a special status for Andhra Pradesh, the Congress is offering it now or the Congress has offered it earlier. That's not news to me because that has been the Congress's agenda. Status to Andhra Pradesh was something that was always on the Congress's agenda. So, the Congress doing it now again, to me, doesn't really make much of a news point here. And it's basically for Chandrababu Naidu to take a call now, whether he wants to stay with the BJP, with whom it's not a party with which for Naidu it's always been hunky dory. Remember in 2019, just before, if I'm not mistaken, either December 2018 or January 2019, thereabouts, the no confidence motion that was brought against the Narendra Modi government was brought by Naidu's party,
Yeah.
and then supported by the Congress and other opposition parties. So I wouldn't be very surprised if there are changes here and there, and which is why in my opening remarks I mentioned that for the BJP or for ensure stability of their government if they come to power, which I think they will, with 290 or 291, whatever the tally is now. I don't think, and they'll certainly be the first to. So for them, they will have to change their, their SOPs vis-a-vis the allies. This whole way in which they have been functioning over the last 10 years, riding roughshod over everybody and stuff, that, I mean, look at Uttar Pradesh, for example. They have a whole lot of allies from UP, smaller chutput parties, the Apna Dal's who has been there. She was made a minister. She was made to wait for her ministerial term all along and made a minister just before the UP elections happened. Okay. Look at what they've done to the Nishad party. And there, I mean, Sanjay Nishad's son, I believe, is losing from Sant Kabir Nagar. He was trailing by a substantial lead. So the allies have nothing to do about with the BJP if the BJP continues to be continues to run the government the way it has. So, since the BJP now doesn't have a majority of its own, unlike 2014 when it had crossed 273 on its own or touched 273 on its own, and that this is not a mandate where, so they're very much dependent on allies. So they'll have to change the way they function or they'll have to sink. It's as simple as that. And the Congress or other members of the India Alliance are not going to stop shopping. They'll do what BJP has been doing for the last 10 years. So I think they'll sort of get taste of their own medicine in them.
Right, absolutely. Okay, so I'll get the last word from Srini sir, but to you, Rajalakshmi and Venkat, I'll come to you now. That so what happens from here on now? I don't know what all shopping is happening right now. Maybe there are some meetings, and I suppose India Alliance, all the senior leaders were supposed to be in Delhi today, and I'm sure they will be meeting up. A lot of phone calls must be ringing between each other. But what can we expect by the end of today? Bombastic Tuesday we've had. Now I don't know what is it going to really culminate into.
So you're asking,
Yes.
yeah. See, I don't think anything immediately is going to sort of fall in place. I think the numbers will all get cleared tomorrow morning, etc. Right? We'll get to know the picture in that sense. But as I said, and as I feel that others have also said this, that the allies are not the allies that the BJP has are not known to have record of staying steadfast with any in fact any combination. So for them to stay on with the BJP, and especially knowing the record of the BJP and its treatment of its partners, of its allies, I doubt it's going to be that easy for it to sort of unless it really makes some big concessions, okay, which I think its own it's because I think which will be difficult to satisfy its own party members, because obviously because there are around 240 odd party members who have won. I mean, who will also need to be sort of accommodated in some form. So I think those internal tensions are going to come to the fore, and let's see. In fact, Chandrababu Naidu is known to be a pretty hard bargainer. I mean, considering that they put him in jail and then he comes out, I mean, he's not going to forget that sweet revenge at some point. So I'm not sure. I'm not so sure, whether it's going to be all that smooth, And then the whole treatment, of Nitish also. I mean, the BJP didn't really give him, the respect that he deserves. I mean,
Right.
I mean, he may have. That's why he did, try to act constantly. So he's one person who is always keep you, uncertain. I mean, he's the one who says "sabke saath,"
Right.
"sabke saath." So
No, but
Nitish
I
is
want to come back. Yes. Venkat, and also to Srini sir, I'll come for the last word. Venkat, I'll come to you now. What happens to brand Modi? Of course, there is a weakening of brand Modi. Modi's guarantees have failed. People have rejected Modi's politics. But can you imagine a scenario where India Alliance is in power? Will we have Narendra Modi sitting inside Lok Sabha? How is he going to face the House? How is he going to face the opposition? All those are very, very crucial questions. I mean, for me, to imagine Narendra Modi sitting in the opposition is a very difficult, is something difficult to imagine right now. How is he going to face it? Venkat, I think you're muted. Venkat, you're muted.
So
Yeah.
From your own show, I will take someone else who said, really on a lighter note, he said, Modi ji शायद आकर हमें ये बताएंगे कि उन्होंने ये हारा so that we all trust the CEC. तो इसीलिए वो हार गए, so that we all feel that CEC genuine है, ये हमारे लिए किया है. So that is on a lighter note. I don't think he's a personality of that sort. I think either if they are able to hard bargain, they will keep their allies in. But I think the people who are smelling blood, whether it's right from Vasundhara Raje to, we didn't speak about her, all the others, they might now start telling us that Nitin Gadkari is the Vajpayee kind of a prime minister for us, who can take us there. It is important for that party to hide the skeletons in the closet. We will be told he's genuine. Stock market will say he's amazing. We will see a new narrative being pushed. Of course, I would want to see what Amit Malviya is doing in the next 2-3 days, because he'll be interesting which side does he tilt. So I have not seen him for the last 2-3 days.
Why
see him
out only Amit Malviya, Venkat? There are lots of big anchors also.
Yeah. But I thought he gets the first stenography work, right?
Right,
the main stenographer. He gets in, and the rest just follow it up in their own language or in their own decibel. But I would like to see what it does. But I think it will be somewhere, the Vajpayee thing, very soft, very good development, that will be posted to us. And I think we'll have to see how it plays. And I agree. I do know that for sure, like I've heard from good corridors, that TDP has been reached out to. And I wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
If you put someone in jail and then win on I'm not going to be the clutch, and I'll see what I'm going to get out of it. And Nitish Kumar did want to be the prime minister. A deputy doesn't look very bad, even if it's a rumor.
Absolutely.
So I would wait and watch. I'm going to take it easy today.
I think everybody will have to wait and watch till evening or maybe tomorrow morning. But Srini sir, coming to you for the final word. So are we returning to an era of soft Hindutva or a more secular BJP after seeing these aggressive 10 years of the Hindutva kind of politics which was done by BJP? Are we returning to that era now? Srini sir. Sir, you're muted, sir.
Yeah, thank you. I think we should look at elections from one or two other perspectives, which I think it's important to note here. One, it's the other voice which has been coming from, at least from Tamil Nadu, very aggressively, is about the harm to federal structure which this government has caused. Now, this I'm talking both in terms of polity and also the finances. Now, let's keep the finances aside for a moment. Of course, it's been hurting people very badly, whether it is GST or whether it is other taxes or the sharing of resources between the center and the states. For the moment, keep that aside. Let's now talk more about politics. if you look at the federal structure, the use of governors, the way the center has tried to arm twist, it's nothing new in India that governors are used as a ploy. Congress has been doing it for a number of years. Congress governments, successive governments have been misusing the office of governor. But under this BJP regime, it had reached something very different levels. Other than that is the use of, as I said earlier, the use of institutions. Now, there is a point in Puneet saying that, look, I don't think so that these issues, I mean, even constitution issues, for instance, he did say that, yeah, it matter. But other issues about, say, whether people are really thinking about I think he did mention politics of hate, politics of divisive, this thing, all that. Does it, how much it actually had mattered? I think if you look at the overall way the thing it has gone, India is now turning more and more bipolar in the sense that there is one particular formation, Congress formation, which ruled for a number of years, which got decimated. We reached a stage where coalition became important. And then one party on the other side of the pole, BJP, rose and formed another very, aggressive and a very demonstratively very, as they call themselves, a very, very powerful and solid government. What we are now seeing is a kind of reversal where states are reasserting, and there is a new coalition which is being formed. Now, in this coalition, Congress wisely didn't, earlier they would. In 2004, if you remember, they had put themselves as a coalition maker. In 2009, they just forgot the coalition dharma and they paid for that. Subsequently, BJP has done the same mistake. They completely forgot in the second term that they had some allies as well. I think the allies are striking back, and this time the Congress has learned its lesson, and it is part of the alliance. Though it is an India alliance and they are the leading party, but the entire behavior, entire body language, entire statements coming from the Congress party was never so aggressive. They tried to be accommodative, and I think as a result, they formed a splendid coalition. I think if you look at, I closely looked at numbers. If you look at the coalition the Congress has done, if you were to look at large coalition, which happened in states like Maharashtra, UP, or Bihar, medium coalitions, and then even small coalition, one single seat coalition, and that has worked. For instance, somebody gave an example of BAP, a very interesting tie-up in Rajasthan, and each seat is important. I think that's the way they have gone about. I think what we are seeing now is this entire coalition coming together under leadership. I mean, again, I'm being careful with the word leadership. If you say Congress's leadership, that's where Mamata gets annoyed. Other gets annoyed. So Congress behaved more as one among equals and tried to fight this battle. And that's what we are seeing. And in the absence of an overall, our overarching wave, this equation seems to have really worked out. Because why I'm saying this, because if you really look at the vote share, in 2019, the vote share of BJP is 37.30. I was looking at the Wikipedia. I'm sorry, I couldn't go to EC. But the current EC site shows 38.32%. It's actually about 1% increase. In the case of Congress, it's an increase of 4.32%. As of now, I'm sure these numbers will be revised. Congress alone is being shown 23.82 from 19.46. So the vote share is increase of Congress, but BJP vote share is more or less same. In fact, it has increased. It has got one more state today. Please remember, they got the one Orissa. So it's not as if suddenly, things have collapsed for BJP. They are still a formidable party, but the alliance on the other side has stood up, and then they have fought together, and they fought on a larger national issue which appealed to people. I think they also picked up very interesting issues like price rise, unemployment, which struck a chord with people in UP and other parts where economically people are really suffering. The COVID impact and the other impact has still been there. So, I mean, the disparity, those kind of things. Rahul's ability to now talk a language people understand, then the language which he used to speak earlier, that has also helped. He has learned his lesson. So all these have come together to form a particular coalition. The other thing I think it's extremely important is the minority issue. All these 10 years, minorities have been more or less invisibilized. They don't, as if they don't exist. Now, will this change? I think this election must ensure, like the way it happened in Karnataka. Karnataka is a good example because before assembly election in Karnataka, there was a very intense polarization which happened. But the people there very decisively voted. I think the minorities consolidated and did a very, I think they did a tactical voting there, and which formed a very solid base. I think similarly, something has happened this time in UP. And I think people are forgetting that you asked a question about whether the politics will change. It has changed to such an extent that Congress party or even other party except the left, nobody was ever talking about minority. The word was almost missing from the dictionary because they just started believing that it's only one-sided this thing which wins the vote. And the other point, I think, in this entire heat and dust of what has happened in the last few years, we've forgotten one thing, that the thing which we have forgotten is, I mean, there was a fine dissection we are trying to make between RSS and BJP, but whether it's an RSS government or whether it's an RSS backed, I mean, in a strong way or a weaker way, the Sangh Parivar and its affiliates remain more or less the same. It's a nomenclature which keeps changing. So, principally, I think it's Puneet who pointed out, and another gentleman, Medina, I think he also said, the character remains the same. So, I mean, in that sense, essentially, not much has changed. So, it's eternal vigil, which again the opposition has to play. It's at the end of the day, it is opposition which has to play these roles. As media houses, we reflect what is happening on the ground. I mean, that's our major role. It doesn't mean that we do it in a very kind of a technical thing, that we don't look at the nuances. Like if it is raining outside, we must go and report it is raining. I mean, that's a lesson we have, all of us know. We should be able to say that whether it is raining or not. So overall, I think if you're giving me an opportunity to close this, I mean, you can go to others also if they have something to say. I feel it's been a fantastic election and very hopeful for
absolutely
all of us and for India.
Absolutely. And there's one bit of news coming in, and of course, we'll try and follow that as well. That Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be walking into the BJP headquarters for a victory bash. Now, what kind of a victory bash is it going to be? What kind of a speech is he going to make? There'll be a lot of indications coming out of that. That's happening at 7 p.m. And just to remind the viewers, our live coverage will continue again. We'll be live again at 8 p.m. So 8 to 9 is that 1 hour or maybe a little more than that we'll try and see what all is happening. And by evening, I think some more indications will solidify, so we'll be able to give you more inputs. Thank you so much for tuning in to our live coverage. Thanks so much, Srini sir, Puneet, Venkat, Rajlakshmi. It was wonderful having all of you on the program. And yes, of course, today is a momentous day. We've had a momentous election and a victory of the democratic and the progressive forces, surely. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.